Welcome back to the Gem Cutter's Craft. In case you didn't see in my previous video, I recently acquired the historic J. Harry Howard faceting machine collection from the McKissick Museum at the University of South Carolina. The University of South Carolina has just voted to close the McKissick Museum, and so they are closing the museum and they're putting everything in the museum into the archives, and they are looking to get rid of the J. Harry Howard collection. All 40 boxes of his stuff, including the 3 faceting machines that were down there, everything. She said, if you can come down here as soon as you can with a van, you can take it all for free and add it to your museum. And I totally freaked out because this is like a dream come true. You know, J. Harry Howard, probably arguably one of the most important figures in the history of American gem cutting, not only to be able to have rediscovered his machine, but the possibility of acquiring it, of adding it to my collection, of being able to take it home and play with it and even potentially cutting a stone on it, it's incredible. It's unbelievable. I'm still shocked. One of the things that I didn't acquire along with the machines was J. Harry Howard's stone collection. So this is a collection of over 3,500 faceted and cabochon stones that he cut himself during his life and that were donated to the museum at the time of his death. On my second visit to the museum before I acquired the collection, Victoria and I were able to go through the entire safe, all 3,500 stones, and I wanted to share that adventure with you today. So we are now looking at J. Harry Howard's collection of stones. Everything in this safe basically is Howard gems, faceted stones, cabochons, everything. And we are literally sitting inside of a safe room, so not so much space. So the drawers are organized, I think, by species. So the first drawer was Peridot, chrysoberyls, and aquas. The second drawer is pretty much all tourmalines. Okay, so we're looking at the drawer of Howard stones and we're trying to get an idea of the kind of cuts he's using. So this first drawer looks like, for around brilliant-ish, we've got 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 78, 80, 82, 82, that's just the first 3 rows. You can see. Other cuts that he has, looks like there are a fair amount of baguette step cuts. There are a fair amount of emerald cuts. Like super. Yeah, super deep. Some extremely deep variations of brilliant cuts. Square step cuts. So far, other than a round, it does.
The way he does the baguette are interesting. It's like a very large first facet, and the second one is very thin, and then the third one is bigger.
Oh yeah, that's weird. The middle tier is tiny compared to the other 2. And it looks like, in this drawer at least, lots of rounds and squares and rectangles. I'm looking for other shapes. So far, he's got 1 oval. And he's got some dark Montana sapphires. He's got some light ones with crazy deep crowns. Okay, so this is a Montana sapphire. And he's got, it's a brilliant cut. He's got a super deep crown, like gigantic crown. And then bottom side, he's got his sort of typical 3-tier. It's like a round brilliant with a 3rd tier, which I call a star cut. A lot of his stones look like this. This one has a really deep crown. I guess he's trying to save weight on the sapphire. But he did get some good reflection on it. Okay, so drawer 3 looks to be mostly amethyst, zircon, and a little bit more beryl. He's got some gigantic ones in here, and the amethysts are all like noticeably big. He's got some that are huge like that.
That's an aqua.
That's a nice aqua. It's perfectly clean. So this is a gigantic aqua. And notice on the top, he's got 1, 2, 3 steps. They're oddly spaced out. Like the first one's really thin. The second one is a sort of medium size. And then the one right around the table is also sort of medium size. So his steps are really irregular. They're also slanted to the right. So he's, you know, he's doing the best he can. But bottom side, really weird. He's got one really steep step and then one shallower step, just 2 steps. And yeah, but otherwise, he is getting a good, you know, he's aware of the critical angle. He's getting underneath of it. The polish is nice. This stone has one little inclusion in the corner, but otherwise it's huge and clean. And yeah, he's getting like a pretty flat polish. Just compare the polish to our own quality.
Polishing a giant table like that is a nightmare. You have polishing line, you have a lot of scratches, but I'm not sure if that's just from time or from his polishing quality. And you can see even with the lobes, you can see some texture.
What about like on the bottom? Not on the table, just on some of the smaller facets, or the crown facets that are small.
You have polishing line on some corner, not fully polished.
It's like he wasn't getting his index totally correct back in the polishing.
Yeah, it's minim. I think it's just about him not actually spending 10 seconds more on the facet.
So this is a giant stone, but it's a great example of his typical cut because it's really easy to see. So you can see the bottom side, he's got 8 mains, he's got 16 breaks, but then instead of making it a normal round brilliant, he's got the 8 star facets on top. And when you see it from the top side, it gives it that nice star pattern. Now, what we can see from this stone, especially when you look at the girdle, it's razor thin. Even when I rub my finger over it, it feels like it could cut you. It's that thin. I almost feel like he isn't trying to keep a girdle. He's cutting the facets all the way until they hit each other. But notice one thing that you can see, his transfer is not very well done here because the top and the bottom are really mismatched. And the break facets are way off. I think you can see it pretty clearly. So he's not taking enough care in his transfer. And yeah, he's not keeping a girdle, though maybe he didn't know he was supposed to. He is polishing, you know, the little bit of the girdle that's left. And also for this stone, he's got extremely deep proportions on the crown. You know, it's probably 40, 45 degree crown mains. And then his pavilion's a little bit too shallow. You can see it's kind of windowing in that 3rd tier. So he should have really made the top less steep and the bottom steeper. But he still is getting some good life and sparkle out of most of the stone. Okay, so this is amethyst. Really nice material. It's deep purple with hints of red. It's very clean. Don't really notice color zoning. He obviously had access to rough somehow, whether he was just going through mineral dealers or what. But so anyway, interesting shape. They're calling it a keystone. It's a step cut. He's got 2 steps on top. He's got 3 steps on the bottom. And again, we've seen this once before. This seems to be a thing that he likes to do. The 2nd step is really, really small, whereas the big step is big and the 3rd step is big. It's a really weird thing to do, I think. And then his 3rd tier is going to that same keystone shape. He's got a long angled keel here, a little bit of a better girdle here. It's defined at least. It's not just a razor like the other one, and it's fairly consistent. So he seems to have had a pretty good hang of step cutting. The polish seems to be pretty good. Let's check it out a little bit closer. So we're looking at the keystone polishing. What do you think? So this is amethyst.
There's so many fingerprints, I can't really see anything. So it's not a good polish. He was struggling back then.
And he's polishing amethyst, so who knows what. Yeah. He must have been maybe using cerium.
A lot of scratches, quite deep.
What about on the bottom?
Yeah, same problem. It's worse actually.
So just scratches and polishing lines?
Maybe it's not that bad. It's actually really good. It's better than the other stones.
Maybe he was getting the hang of glazing. So for the amethyst drawer, he's got lots of his 3-step round brilliants. He's got some step cuts, but yeah, lots of rounds, an oval, some emerald cuts, some rectangle cuts. And then when we look into the zircons, he's got lots of round brilliants. It's kind of crazy because he's got so many stones, but he pretty much just uses the same couple of cuts. Either the regular, you can see the regular brilliant cut like that one, or the 3-step, which he does here. Okay, so drawer number 4, we're looking at topaz, tourmaline, and more barrels, mostly white and yellow barrels. And these ones are a lot smaller. He's got some ovals, not too many, mostly rounds, same as what we saw before, mostly rounds, emerald cuts, a kite shape here and there, rectangles. That seems to be square step cut. Yeah, it doesn't look like... Oh, here's a pear. We haven't seen a pear. So this is topaz, pear shape. You can see he's got a nice flat table, fairly decent reflection. The top is a brilliant, so he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9 mains. Well, 10 with the point. And then the bottom is kind of a version of his 3-step brilliant. So he's got main facets, break facets, and then he's got a bunch of little triangles at the top that make the 3rd tier, which makes the sort of weird, well, it's not weird. He's got a really straight keel line, but the facets are sort of irregular where they hit the breaks. And again, razor sharp girdle, wavy. And you can see the girdle is tilting towards the point, so he didn't balance it very well. Okay, so the 5th drawer is orthoclays, sapphires, emeralds. They kind of have a bluer color to them, so not sure what the locality is on that. So the emeralds are mostly rectangles, squares. He's got a couple of actually round brilliants, but most all of them are squares, rectangles, and not even really emerald cut, just with slight corners. He's got some spinels in here from Sri Lanka. He's got some Queensland sapphires, pretty big sizes too, 1.9 to 2.3 carats, and pretty nice colors, some nice pastel, kind of sleepy blues. Some of the stones that he's doing are just super, super tiny. You know, in comparison, he's got other ones that are just gigantic. He's got a bunch of kunzites in here, and one of them is an oval, so let's check out his kunzite ovals. Okay, so we're looking at a kunzite, sort of an oval shape. Not sure if it's meant to be an oval or if it's meant to be sort of somewhere between a marquise and an oval, but he's got a faceted girdle on this one, and it's just a huge, huge girdle. Just so funny considering that he's had these razor thin girdles. So that's the girdle reflecting right there. Gigantic. It looks like a row of facets, but that's the girdle. But then it's really irregular because when he gets to the end, he totally loses it. And you can see it's making a point right here. He should have pushed that part down. He doesn't have any girdle right there. The top of this one's kind of funny. It's a straight step cut. 1, 2, 3. He's got 8 mains, and there's a second tier up here, which is just the second step. But then at the end, he's got like break facets. I don't know. He's improvising this, and it doesn't really make sense the way that he's cut it. It makes the shape weird. The bottom side is kind of an old-fashioned brilliant cut. It's like an old mine cut almost. You know, he's got 8 mains with like 50% high break facets, and they're kind of just spread out in kind of an old-fashioned way, but the girdle is just really weird on the stone. This couldn't be set, but this is his oval. So we'll look at a couple other ovals and see if he does that a lot or if this is a fluke. I think one thing that we can say already is that even if his faceting wasn't perfect, he definitely knew how to polish a large variety of materials. Just in this drawer, we've got fluorite, spodumene, kunzite, emerald, sunstone, orthoclase, and then other weird stones. This one says amblygonite, spinels. So, I mean, pretty much every type of stone is in this drawer somewhere. And some of these are stones that people have a lot of trouble polishing today. Aragonite, yeah, just some weird ones. Okay, so drawer 6, we've got strange stones like enstatite, apatite, polysite, diopside, andalusite, almandine garnets, lots and lots of garnets. There's pretty much lots of everything. Everything that he has is in spalerite. Okay, so this is a spalerite, round. Yeah, he's got a normal girdle. It's consistent and polished and nice. It's smooth. We haven't seen any, other than that one oval, we haven't seen any evidence of faceted girdles. He's doing his typical 3-tiered brilliant cut. The top is just a regular brilliant cut. He's got some nice reflection in here, some nice fire. His meat points are pretty good, so maybe this is a later stone. His table's nice and centered. Not all the meat points are, I wouldn't call them perfect in any way, but they're definitely passable. I can see he's got one extra facet in the stars, but generally speaking, that's a pretty decent stone. And he's definitely getting the color out of it. So these are sphalerite and kunzites of a decent size, and these are all cut in a round 3-step brilliant, and he's getting a pretty good shine and sparkle. We're in a pretty crappy overhead light, and it's getting pretty good movement even with just the limited light. If we add the microscope to it with that light, you can see it's even more sparkly. So this is a parcel of rhodolites, and they're small stones, but I pull these out because this is the first time we've seen him do a triangle shape. So I don't know if this means this is coming later in his career or the rough was already a triangle or what, but and it's just a regular step cut. Looks like the top has 2 steps, and yeah, not a perfect triangle, but definitely a triangle. So yeah, we're looking at a citrine here. Howard has adjusted his 3-step brilliant into a 4-step, so I think we could probably call this Portuguese cut now. So he's got these little facets right at the top, then he's got a facet right there, and facet somewhere down the breaks. So super deep. We've seen this a lot. He cuts the stones with super deep proportions, but really a killer color. If we take it off the blue light, we can see this is a kind of citrine that I've never had access to, and he's got a lot of material, this sort of fiery red, deep orange red citrine that I've never seen on the market. So he must have bought it all up. So we're looking at that same citrine through the loop just to try to get a glimpse of his polish. It's actually quite good, I would say, for a citrine. There's a hair on it, but you can see there's not a lot of scratches.
See brushing lines.
He's getting like a pretty mirror-like finish on the citrine, which is not so easy to do today, let alone back in 1935. So drawer number 7, we're getting into kind of some weirder stuff. We've got a giant green glass that has a sort of interesting step cut becomes brilliant cut type thing. So we got one row of steps and then a row of breaks and then his signature star cut green glass. But then we've got synthetics. Now it'd be interesting to have an understanding about where does synthetics come from in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. Here we've got a very nicely colored synthetic blue spinel. Just super deep, super blue, super vibrant. This is like almost like some kind of variation on old style brilliant. So he's got a culet facet, he's got mains, he's got really small breaks that aren't going up very far. And then the crown is just a regular brilliant style, kind of chunky crown, no girdle, nice deep blue spinel, synthetic. So other synthetics that are here, he's got this synthetic rutile, he's got synthetic sapphire, he's got more synthetic sapphires, blue-green zircons with a marquee shape in there. So here he's got some special stones with chatoyance and just other stuff too. So he's got a couple here labeled as doublets. This blue one actually has an interesting cut that we haven't seen him do before. It's a long cushion with a split mains, almost a Sri Lankan style pattern. And the other box of doublets actually tells us the top RI is 1.78, so I think that's Topaz, and the body is 1.68, which I don't know what it is off the top. Garnet with a Topaz top or something like that. So yeah, maybe the top is sapphire and the bottom is garnet or something like that. So here he's got some nice quartz stars. Never actually seen that before. He's even got some sweets here for a necklace. And so when we get into drawer 9, we're getting into the world of cabochons. And he's just got so many cabs here, just bags and bags and bags of every type of stone, every shape, every size, from giant to small. Even some cards where they were hooked onto. Some of these look like he even collected them himself in the South Carolina beach, North Carolina. So here we've got one of his cabs. It looks like it's lapis. Looks like it was mounted on something. So do we know if he did this or not? It's hard to say. Maybe he mounted it onto something, one of these cards down here. But, you know, just to look at the reflection, it's a pretty consistent cab. It's not wavy. Okay, here's kind of an interesting one. It looks like it's supposed to be a star or something like that. And again, we don't know if he made this or just bought it, but it's a doublet. It's got a blue layer of something, I guess star sapphire on the bottom, and I'm guessing what is quartz on top. Maybe this was an experiment. You can kind of see the star right there. It doesn't work very well, but interesting. Another kind of a jasper or something, just looking at it for polishing quality and craftsmanship. And again, his shape seems to be pretty consistent, not super wavy if we watch the reflections. A little wavier than the other one, but not bad. Okay, we wanted to go back and see more of Howard's ovals. Here we've got, this is amethyst. It's a pretty normal, brilliant cut. Very thin girdle. And he's got kind of a unusual, this is a regular brilliant style bottom. 8 main facets, 16 break facets, but they're not all coming to a point. There's a bit of a keel line down here. Bow tie effect, no, because he's kind of windowed it slightly. But his shape is a lot better than the other one that we saw. And his girdle, it looks like probably what he does is he preforms the shape, he cuts the facets, he loses the girdle in the process, and then he goes back and gets the girdle back a little bit just in the polishing, but his girdle's still, it's just super thin, like almost not there. And if we look at some of the other ones, these are almost in the realm of cushions. They're cushiony ovals, I guess. Kind of seeing the same thing. Thin girdle, brilliant top, really small stars. Really, it's a high crown, which he does that a lot. And looks like the same kind of bottom as we saw before. Oh, this one has a culet facet though. So slightly different there. You can kind of catch it there. But otherwise it's the same. He's got 8 mains. The corners are really small mains. The ends are small. The sides are really deep. And then he's got like 50% high break facets all the way around. So it's kind of an old-fashioned style of a brilliant. But his shapes are better. He's got a pretty decent oval shape there. I hope you enjoyed this exclusive look into the stone collection of J. Harry Howard. Over 3,500 stones cut between 1930 and 1965 on this unique, antique, homemade faceting machine, which is now part of the Museum of Faceting Technology collection. Thank you so much for going on this journey with me, and if you'd like to support this channel as well as getting access to my bi-monthly podcast, you can support me on Patreon for as little as $3 a month. There's a link in the description below. I'll see you next time right here on the Gem Cutter's Craft.